Your 30s change something you might not expect. It's not your face, and it's not your body. It's the way people size you up the moment you walk into a room. Like it or not, once you cross that threshold, people stop giving you the benefit of the doubt they once did. They expect confidence, they expect competence, they expect a certain quiet maturity, the sense that you know who you are and what you're doing, and yet walk into any office, any restaurant, any social gathering, and you'll see it everywhere. Men in their 30s, 40s, even 50s, still dressing exactly the way they did in college. Not because they can't afford better, but because nobody ever told them their style needed to grow up alongside them. Here's the part most men get wrong. They assume the goal is to look older, buttoned up, conservative, forgettable. That's not it at all. Dressing well after 30 isn't about aging yourself on purpose. It's about making sure your appearance finally matches the man you've actually become, someone more capable, more grounded, and more self-assured than he was a decade ago. When that alignment is missing, when a man's presentation hasn't caught up with his actual maturity, people notice, even if they can't explain exactly why. It shows up as a vague sense that something feels a little off, a little unfinished, a little less credible than it should be. Today we're going through the 10 most common style mistakes holding men over 30 back, why each one quietly works against you, and exactly how to correct it, without buying a new wardrobe and without spending money you don't need to spend. Before we start, if this is the kind of practical, grounded advice you're after, the kind that has nothing to do with trends and everything to do with how people actually perceive you, go ahead and subscribe to become a gentleman. We break this down every single week. Now let's get into it. Number 10, wearing clothes that don't fit your current body. This is the most common mistake on the list, and it rarely happens on purpose. Men fall into a habit of buying the same size year after year, even as their bodies naturally shift with age, work, family life, and time. The result is clothing that hangs loosely in places it shouldn't, or pulls tightly across the chest, shoulders, and waist. Both extremes damage perceived confidence. Oversized clothing reads as unaware or careless. Overly tight clothing reads as uncomfortable, sometimes even a little desperate to hide something. Neither communicates control, and control is exactly what people are subconsciously scanning for. Research on first impressions consistently shows that people form snap judgments about competence and status within seconds, largely based on how clothing sits on the body, not what it costs. The fix isn't an overhaul. It's having your existing pieces properly assessed, occasionally altered, and choosing sizes based on who you are today rather than who you were 10 years ago. Fit, more than fabric or brand, communicates that you're paying attention. Most men never realize this next one, mostly because it feels harmless. Number 9, chasing every fashion trend. Constantly copying trends built for men in their early 20s, oversized streetwear, exaggerated silhouettes. Whatever a teenager on social media is wearing this month often looks forced rather than fresh on a man well past that stage of life. This isn't a call to avoid modern clothing altogether. It's a warning against blindly following every trend as if your own instincts can't be trusted. Timeless style, clean lines, quality basics, classic proportions, consistently ages better than anything trend-driven, simply because it isn't tied to a specific cultural moment that will pass in a year. The fix is balance. Bring in a current fit, an updated color, a modern detail, without building an entire outfit around a look that will feel dated almost immediately. Real confidence comes from clothing that feels like yours, not clothing borrowed from a trend aimed at someone half your age. Number 8, neglecting grooming. This includes an outdated haircut you've clung to out of habit, an unshaped beard, overgrown eyebrows, visible nose or ear hair, dry skin, cracked lips, and poorly kept nails. Grooming often creates a far stronger impression than clothing itself, simply because it's noticed at close range, in every handshake, every conversation, every moment someone is standing near you. A well-groomed man in a simple outfit consistently reads as more polished than a poorly groomed man in an expensive one. The fix takes very little time and almost no money. A clean, current haircut suited to your face, a defined beard line or clean shave, trimmed brows, moisturized skin, basic nail care. None of this is vanity. It's one of the clearest, most affordable signals of discipline available to any man. And discipline is exactly what people associate with maturity. But the next mistake is even more common and even easier to overlook. Number 7. Wearing worn-out shoes. Scuffed leather, dirty sneakers, cracked soles, and worn-down heels quietly communicate neglect, even when the rest of an outfit looks perfectly fine. Shoes are one of the first things people register, often without consciously realizing they're doing it, which makes them one of the most dangerous blind spots on this entire list. The fix has nothing to do with buying expensive footwear. It's maintaining what you already own. Clean leather regularly, wash sneakers when they start to look tired, and retire shoes once they're visibly breaking down rather than wearing them purely out of habit or sentiment. A clean, affordable pair of shoes will always outperform a neglected expensive one, because maintenance, not price, is what actually gets noticed. Number 6. Wearing clothes covered in logos. Large, prominent branding often communicates the opposite of what men think it does. Instead of signaling status, it can suggest a man is trying to prove something rather than simply being confident in who he is. There's been a clear cultural shift toward understated style, quiet, logo-free wardrobes that let fit, fabric, and color speak instead of a label doing the talking. A man who doesn't need visible branding to feel validated typically comes across as more composed and self-assured. The fix is straightforward: choose clean, minimal pieces, and let quality and fit carry the outfit. Quiet, consistent style consistently reads as more mature than anything designed purely to draw the eye through a logo. This is where maturity really starts to show. Number 5. Ignoring color coordination. Random mismatched colors thrown together create visual noise and suggest an outfit was assembled without much thought. Sticking to a small set of timeless combinations instantly creates a more intentional, put-together appearance. Navy paired with white, gray paired with black, olive paired with cream, brown paired with white, blue paired with gray. These combinations endure because they create contrast without clashing, and because they've remained visually effective for decades, long before any current trend existed and long after it will fade. A consistent, limited color palette signals more control than a closet full of unrelated colors competing for attention. Number 4. Dressing like every occasion is casual. After 30, more moments in life call for something slightly more elevated than a hoodie and sneakers. Work functions, dinners, social gatherings where a bit more polish genuinely changes how you're received. This doesn't mean becoming stiff or overly formal. Swapping a hoodie for a clean overshirt, trading a graphic tee for a simple polo, or adding a piece of knitwear or a structured jacket can elevate an entire look while still feeling completely relaxed. The fix is recognizing that polished casual exists as its own category: comfortable, simple, but clearly considered. This one shift alone often changes how seriously people take you before a single word leaves your mouth. Number 3. Ignoring accessories. A belt, a watch, a wallet, a pair of glasses. These small details quietly complete or quietly undermine an entire outfit. Mismatched or neglected accessories create clutter, while a few clean, coordinated pieces create the impression of real intention. This isn't about owning more, it's about owning fewer, better maintained items that work consistently across your wardrobe. A simple leather belt that matches your shoes, a clean watch, a slim wallet. These details are easy to overlook, but they're exactly the kind of thing people register, even when they can't say precisely what they noticed. Number 2. Forgetting that posture completes every outfit. You can wear the sharpest clothing available and still undercut all of it with slouched shoulders, a lowered gaze, and slow, hesitant movement. Posture, walking pace, and eye contact work alongside clothing to shape a first impression and often carry just as much weight as the outfit itself, sometimes more. Standing upright, moving with clear purpose, and holding eye contact a beat longer than feels natural all communicate authority before you've said a single word. Clothing and body language aren't separate signals. They work together, and neglecting one quietly undermines the other, no matter how much thought went into getting dressed. The biggest mistake on this entire list has nothing to do with age. Number 1. Dressing without intention. Mature style was never about owning more clothes. It's about owning the right clothes and wearing them with purpose. People consistently infer confidence, competence, personality, and social status from appearance within moments of meeting someone, long before any real conversation takes place. Getting dressed on autopilot, grabbing whatever's closest, wearing whatever always got worn, leaves that entire impression up to chance. The fix is a single habit, asking one question before you leave the house. Does this reflect the version of myself I actually want people to see today? That one moment of intention changes the effect of everything else on this list. Turning 30 doesn't mean dressing old. It means dressing with purpose. Style after 30 was never about chasing fashion, and it was never about spending more money either. It's about communicating confidence before you ever say a word, letting your appearance finally catch up to the man you've actually become. If this gave you something to think about, hit like, subscribe to Become a Gentleman for more, and let me know in the comments which one of these mistakes you think most men over 30 are still making.